Gaming is well known for its crazy moments, the type of things that make you question your own sanity, like, whoa, did I just see that? Things that just confuse you and make you rethink your life choices. Well, my name is BassGator, and in this video, we're going to be taking a dive into 5 of gaming's most WTF moments. At number 5, we have Ghost death in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. This moment was completely unexpected and shocked many gamers worldwide. During the mission Loose Ends, you play as Roach as you and Task Force 141 members, including Ghost, infiltrate a compound owned by Makarov, the game's main antagonist. Within the game's story, you are sent to do this by Commander Shepard, and the mission requires Task Force 141 to be split into 2, as it is unknown where Makarov is currently located, and it is split between 2 locations. One group featuring Ghost and Roach to storm the safe house in the Caucasus Mountains, and the other group to go to Afghanistan, featuring the usual main characters Soap McTavish and Captain Price. You storm the compound together with Ghost and search the house, breaching and clearing rooms. After clearing everything out, you report to the other team and they state a similar circumstance. You then decide to use the situation to your advantage and start acquiring intel from the house, and Shepard greenlights this. After a long standoff inside the compound, you acquire the information and run away from the scene, which then leads to the infamous scene happening. Commander Shepard betrays you and infamously shoots you and Ghost, then burns the evidence by throwing a cigar into the gasoline while Captain Price calls in reporting that Shepard's men begin to attack them. After this shocking upset, many gamers were left saddened by the death of Ghost, one of the franchise's most beloved characters. At number 4, we're kicking it off with The Elder Scrolls Oblivion, which really is just notoriously known for its WTF moments due to how buggy and unstable the game is. But even with that, it's a phenomenal game that many people love dearly, and if you loved it too much, you might have played it for a very long time. Well, unfortunately for you, once your save file starts to creep up to around 450 hours, the game starts to essentially fall apart in front of you. Animations freeze, spells take literal days to dissipate, and if you try to beat the game in this state, the Oblivion Gates animation takes a full month to play out. Essentially, all the in-game animations are in this state, and due to this, it is referred to the A-bomb glitch, or animation bomb. There are ways to fix it. However, without external tools, if your game reaches this state, your save file is essentially toast. So kiss goodbye to whatever hellish creature you created in the character creator. Sweet Prince. Coming in at number 3, we have Pokemon, a game well known for its many rumors and sometimes creepy things like Lavender Town. But deep within the Pokedex are some strange entries that make you think, what were they thinking? Like, let's look at the Pokemon Drowsy, an odd-looking guy. Let's read his dex entry from Pokemon Silver. It remembers every dream it eats. It rarely eats the dreams of adults because children's are much tastier. What the fuck? If you think that you had a good dream, but you can't remember it, a Drowsy is probably eating it. Holy shit. Let's look at its evolution, Hypno. It carries a pendulum-like device. There once was an incident in which it took away a child that hypnotized. Holy shit, Game Freak. There are quite a few other Pokemon that also have some WTF dex entries like Drifloon from Generation 4. It is whispered that any child who mistakes Drifloon for a balloon and holds on to it could end up missing. That's fucking ominous. At number 2, we have the Blank Flank ending in Superphilia Adventure, an indie game about ponies. In the game, you play as Jade, a pony looking for their cutie mark. On this journey, Pinkie Pie inquires you about a party she is throwing, and she requests that you send out invitations to the ponies around town. You then walk around the town talking to every pony, going down the list, and thinking nothing could possibly go wrong with this game. Well, if your system clock is between the times of 11 PM to 6 AM, after giving Derpy the good muffin and walking out to the forest, it becomes nighttime, and Sakura's eyes become red. Talking to her, she tells you to go back. Ignoring this advice, you continue into the forest. Some static appears, and you discover that you cannot turn back. Walking ahead, you see Luna resting. Talking to her, she says, "Stop. Don't eat me," but you assure her that you're not one of them. She mentions the bloody hooves and how her sister banished her to the forest. She asks for you not to leave so that she doesn't have to die alone, as once you were in the forest, you were there forever. You tell her that you have to try to find a way out as you cannot stay. As you move forward, the area gets darker. You then see a red and black pony, and he repeats, "One of us." Going deeper, you encounter more of them, and they patronize you, and Jade begs for them to stop. It then transitions into her dead body. You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you? It didn't have to end this way. We then see Twilight Sparkle wondering where Jade went, and then boom, WTF. Scarring childhoods across America.
You already know what it is.
And at number 1, we have the Squall is Dead theory in Final Fantasy VIII, an unsettling fan theory regarding the events that occur at the end of Disc 1. Essentially, to avoid a deep lore dump, you confront the evil sorceress, and the fight does not go as planned. You get impaled by a blue shard and fall down, and Disc 1 ends. Disc 2 then begins while you are imprisoned. However, your wounds are healed, and it isn't really directly mentioned what happens. He briefly mentions the fact that no wound is present, but other than that, the game plays normally from there on. So what happened? What if it was all a dream? You see, what if the rest of the game was just Squall's brain creating some idealized last moments for himself in his last seconds of life? A kind of fantasy if you will. Some DMT talk, but this isn't some Joe Rogan experience type shit. The theory goes on to list the various unrealistic experiences that proceed to happen throughout the game, such as Squall saving the world, getting the girl, abrupt orphanage plot twists, but definitely the most interesting aspects of the theory is its interpretation of the end of the game, which is well known for its trippy, time-bending nature. After defeating the real final boss by having to go through some weird, time-bended place, you become displaced in time and isolated from everyone else. Eventually a feather appears, and he calls out to Rinoa, his main love interest's name. Then some very WTF stuff starts to go down, as the sort of memories of time begin to replay back, but distorted and disturbed. He can't seem to recall the exact face of what she looked like in his memories, and the scene repeats again and again like an attempt to recall what she looked like. The theory states that this is him truly dying and losing touch with his own memories. While this is happening, images briefly flash upon the screen. Flashes of characters from the scene at the end of Disc 1 appear from earlier, like Cypher, who prior to Squall's supposed death, it was heavily insinuated that Rinoa had a previous relationship with Cypher, who in the game is portrayed as Squall's rival, further pushing the death fantasy aspect, as she would later become interested in Squall after Disc 1. We then see some more heavily distorted images of Rinoa, and flashes of scenes from Disc 1, and various images depicting the moment Squall was hit with a shard, and then... Did you catch it? Let's roll it back. If you look carefully and pause, we see this frame. Squall's head with his face seemingly carved out, open to many different interpretations, but, of course, it's just a theory. But certainly a WTF moment. And honorable mentions to boobies. Hell yeah.